All right, everyone, welcome back. We are game 3004 in the winter 2021 semester, and it is week 13, part one of our broadcast. And today I just want to do a brief project update and talk about what's happening today from a week activity. And then that's it. We're good to go for today. And then we'll also talk about what's going on next week and the following weeks to come. So let's get into that right now. All right, so we're sitting at week 13. Again, this is the group activity that I asked you guys to do, which is a memory profiling and Q&A testing, that kind of stuff. What we're doing this week is performance profiling. Stuff that's due 10th weekly report, that's due Saturday. Sorry for those people, for whatever reason, slip of the fingers, and some of you got zeros, and then I reversed all that stuff, so we're good. Beta release, again, just a reminder, is due Sunday. Review 5, pre-review 5 is also due Sunday this week. And so then we're into the last weeks of class. Just to note that next week, there will be no lab again. So it won't be a lab activity. There'll be a group activity. And one of the things I'm going to give you a thing to do is the project Postmortem and Retrospective. So what that is about is you kind of doing almost like a microblog, which I'm going to give you a chance to do. It won't be something you hand in, but rather something you add into your final presentation, where you kind of talk about what things could have done, what you could have done better. If you had more time, where would you go with it, that kind of stuff. And I'll give you some details around that next week. All right. And then after next week, then you're into the final week of class where we do our presentations. We'll have a nice presentation order throughout the time, just like normal, like we did our checkpoint. And then we're done, and I'm hoping to really see a wonderful selection of apps that you guys have put together. So that is, I'm really looking forward to that. And like I said, I'd like to put it up on YouTube and stuff as well. So what I'd like to try and do is, if you could have your demos and everything ready to go and be YouTube ready, that'd be great. And then that way you can always refer back to this one big stream that we're going to do that has all videos and everything from all you guys and girls, you know, kind of put together, so that way we can look at everything and, you know, you can always refer back to it. All right, so that is kind of what's coming in the coming weeks and so on. That's pretty cool. So let's get into what's happening this week. So we're doing performance profiling with Unity. And one thing I've asked you guys to do is you know, kind of look at the little tutorial I have on the back of this thing. So I've kind of shared the tutorial link. That's a Unity tutorial. And all I'm looking for today is CPU utilization and memory utilization. I want to know what it's like, kind of a before and after shot of what that's like. So some of you have already incorporated some optimizations already. So things like object pooling and those kind of things. One thing that that profiling does for you, it also captures a baseline for your performance, right? For the game. So what we like to do sometimes is also capture just the raw empty editor and what the performance is like with nothing running in the scene, like zero, like an actual zero scene, right? And the reason for this is because everybody's system runs at a different rate. Everyone has potentially different kinds of systems, you know, PC or Mac or what have you. And it's good to get a baseline from how much overhead your editor has on your system. So that's what you start off with. And then what you do is you add in the CPU utilization and memory utilization when you're in the editor. And then what is it like on the device? So you can do all those things. And that's what this little tutorial does. It allows you to kind of look at both on the editor and on the device. It's not really a video tutorial. It's like just a step-by-step that's provided by Unity, and I think it's a great thing to do. I've also put in some slides right from the Unity documentation for you on what the Unity profiler is about. And so that's what this lab is. It's like, hey, I want to get an idea of my CPU, my memory, my render, and my audio utilization. And it's so important from a mobile perspective to get that information, so that way you can target your improvements. Okay, so that's kind of what I've asked you guys to do. So again, no lab, so there's no mark for today necessarily. But one thing I want to point out is in your beta release, and this is kind of an excerpt from your beta release, it says in the 6th draft of your GDD that you need to create another testing section. So for producers, please hone in or zone in on this one. I'm going to be looking for this on your beta release, where you have a couple of screenshots for both memory usage and CPU performance. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. And this week is the week where I give you kind of a work session. You can have multiple people take snapshots and get the best images or performance information, and include them inside of your GD. Do I need a lot of them? Not really. You know, for me, what I'd like to do is I want you guys to go through the experience of it, but I'm really just looking for a before and after shot. So here's my before shot of my memory usage, and then I did some optimizations, and then here's my after. After I optimize, or I tried to optimize even, here's what we did from a memory perspective. Did it improve? Did it get worse? You know, that kind of stuff. So those are the things, little experiments that you can do, to kind of, see what you're coding, and, turning off things like renderers that are not working, or we shouldn't even be in the scene, doing culling, reducing the focal length of your camera and all that kind of stuff, the near and far plane distance, all that kind of stuff can make a big difference in terms of performance in general. So lighting features, those kind of things where you can turn things off without even coding anything. So you can look at all those things, note what changes you made. I think that's one thing I'd like you to do. And then, so that's the relevant information I'm talking about. So these are the changes we made. This is our kind of like our baseline. We had all these things, and we've modified these things, these certain things, whether it's lighting, or we baked the lights, or we did whatever you did. And then, by the way, here's our CPU and memory utilization after we did, this whole thing. So please take a look at that. I think it's a really great little exercise for you guys all to do. Again, there's no marks associated with any one person doing it. If one person does it from your entire team, that's good, but I'm giving you back a little bit of work time for two reasons. One, you can use the lab for as a work period. And two, you can do this little performance profiling thing. So that's what's really happening this week. Okay, so there is no lab. I'm not going to curate the lab later on today. It's for you to do. I kind of joined the first lab just to give them an idea of what they wanted to do or what they should do. But really for you guys, this is exactly kind of what I talked about in the first lab. So it's for you to go and do, and then add it in for next week's or for this weekend's GDD. Okay, so any questions around performance profiling or anything else like this that I'm asking you to do? Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of questions that will come out of this, to be honest with you. So that's really the idea. You go through the profiler. It's fairly straightforward, I think. I know that I was talking to Flavio there, and he was basically saying that it was super simple, and he was able to get change some results. Some people have already done some optimizations. So what do you do in that case? Let's say, because it's quite late in the process. So you kind of look at the profiler window, and then you can do some optimization. But some people have already done object pooling, or you're using the factory method pattern from a coding perspective, or whatever, or you're using scriptable objects or something to optimize. Again, some of those things you can turn off, right? Try and see what does it really have an effect, the thing that you're doing, right? So it's not going to show you how to do it. It's going to point out where the problems are, Jake, right? So that's the thing. So it's going to say, here, this is where you're actually using this much memory. Okay, what if I tried this? What's the effect of this? And it's going to point out a couple things. Is your game more CPU bound or GPU bound, right? So take a look at that little article. I think that's a great one from Unity. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. It talks about garbage collection and profiling. It talks about how to determine if your game is GPU bound or if it's CPU bound, what those terms mean and all that kind of stuff. And then it talks about doing different kinds of profiling in terms of physics or rendering. Rendering is a big one, right? How to do rendering and all that kind of stuff. And just a bunch of other things that it goes into. There's other tutorials online as well that can assist you in terms of kind of identifying or diagnosing performance problems. And again, this is such a key thing when it comes to mobile, but I think Unity kind of outlines it really greatly. So I think it's a good opportunity for you guys to do this on your own. Okay. Any questions before we switch off? Because really that's all I wanted to talk about. I'm not really trying to get you guys to stay on and have a greater discussion with this. I just wanted to point out a couple things, where we are on the map, right, kind of stuff, and what the activity is today, and that's it. So any questions around that? Again, I'm putting this video up just in case you want to know what it's about and what you're doing and all that kind of stuff. In other news, I know that I know it's not a great thing for everyone to lock down again, but I think probably it's a good thing. I know it's not really related to mobile game dev, but I think it's a reality that we're all facing, right? So one of the things for me is later on today, because of my sensitive age, I have a chance to get vaccinated. So I'm going to do my first vaccination today. That's what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys, I know that they're in hotspots. They're also allowing very soon. Yeah, thank you. That they're going to allow, adults 18 and over to get vaccinated as well. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to kind of go in line or go down the line of getting back to normal at some point. It's kind of a single step. It's not the only thing, that's for sure. And it's not going to be the end result. But, kind of having the ability to, to kind of go down the line of getting vaccinated and maybe is something good for all of us. And again, I can't make that decision for anyone, and nor am I going to give my opinion on whether you should or not. That's for you to make. You have to make that, kind of educated opinion on your own. But for me, it's something that I think works well for me and the way I think about things. So that's what's happening this afternoon later on. So it kind of works in line with what's happening. No, Michael, that's what I'm saying. So it's just a work period for you, Michael. There's no lab specifically for this. It's not going to be a curated time frame. I'm going to give you back some time to do work on your game and or work on the performance profiling that I've asked you to do. It just takes time. It might take more than the lab time. It might take less than the lab time. It's not that difficult. You can take a few snapshots, maybe work with your team to get that done in a collaborating session. So it's a good time for you to do that. Okay. All right, any other questions? I know we kind of met really briefly, guys, today, but that was the real gist. Remember, the hour we meet for our project is a project update, and then we get inside the next part. Yes, Kat, that's exactly what you're going to get, right? So it's really, did you put it in? Did you try? Kat, even if it didn't work, let's say, for example, you try to do some performance profiling, you turn some stuff off, you looked online and all those kind of things. Yeah, I'm sure you are trying, but I'm saying, let's say, for example, you're trying to improve your performance because, again, this is a key issue. One of the things that they're going to ask you on an interview, if you ever do mobile game dev, I'm sure is, have you done any kind of testing? Have you done, it might be something, it might be a question that people come up with, right? So I think it's valid for you guys to know all parts of game dev, and part of it is testing, especially when it comes to performance profiling. All right, so that's it for me, guys. Good luck with your testing. Hit me up if you need assistance. I'll be available throughout the day and tomorrow. Otherwise, keep your eye on getting all those little things checked, your weekly report, as well as your peer review, which is due Sunday. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys. Thank you so much, Alex, and I'll take care, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.